This is Solo P1. This is episode 53 of the Flaming Tarmac. Before I start this video, this is the second time I've done this video. The first time I've done this video, it was on mute. So I've got to do this video again. It is 20 past 3 in the morning, Friday early morning. So that's my dedication for you right there. So what's been going on in F1 this week? FIA again. FIA again. They never learn. They will never learn, and they will continue to make mistakes. They are a laughing stock. Nobody's got respect for them. They've got zero credibility, and they will never learn. This is why the ratings are tanking. TV ratings are tanking. The true fans of Formula One, the ones that know the history of Formula One, the ones that know that DRS wasn't always there, like these new fans, they call them the Netflix generation. Them. This. And you know what? You know the reason why it's like this? This is the reason why it is like this. Look, who took over F1? Liberty Media. Listen, I love America. I think America is an amazing place. It's the place of entertainment. It's a place of movies. Not all the best movies, but we know how it goes. Hollywood. They like the glitz and the glamour. That's where that saying came from. The glitz and the glamour, the lights, the glitz, the glamour. It came from America. As soon as America brought Formula One, this is when all this started happening. They're changing the rules. They're changing rules that don't need to be changed. Why do you need to change the rules for? Why do you need to change the sprint weekends? Why do you need to change rules that have been there since the beginning? Why? Cost cap. Why? If other teams can't catch up, that's their problem. This is Formula One. This is not charity racing. If you haven't got the funds, you can't keep up, you get out. This is what makes Formula One so prestige. Cost cap. There's rumours now there's cost cap. More teams have broke the cost cap rules. It's a disaster. I saw this coming. As soon as they brought in the cost cap, I saw it coming. Someone's going to find a loophole. Someone's not going to find a loophole. And then we're going to have this disaster. We've got a complete, utter disaster on our hands right now in Formula One. It's a disaster. Nobody's going to comply by the rules. People are going to break rules. The FIA are going to fine people. And it's going to continue to be a disaster. In my opinion, get rid of it. Bringing in new rules with the tyres. They're going to have some experiments about tyres. About Q1 medium, Q2 soft, Q3 hard. Or the other way around, I forgot. Why? Just keep it the way it is. We all know this ground effect was done for Red Bull. We all know that. That was changed for Red Bull because they want Max Verstappen to win all the Grand Prix. Because they're trying to erase Lewis Hamilton's achievements. The Mercedes achievements. The dominance of Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. That's what they're trying to do. This is why Abu Dhabi happened. They wanted this cinematic finish that goes back to my point with American media. Liberty Media taking over Formula One. They wanted this cinematic finish for Netflix. This is why Netflix is having a piece of it, because Liberty Media have got a piece of it, American company, and now Netflix is going to have a piece of it. They're all collaborating together to get this cinematic finish, and this is why Abu Dhabi 2021 happened. This is why it happened. It was all planned. And as we can see, all these rules are going on now, getting broken, making new rules and breaking them. We can see Australia, safety car. That's how Abu Dhabi should have finished. We know this. And it's clearly. And with Sainz. Why did Sainz get that penalty? Why? He didn't deserve that penalty. But I knew as soon as he started appealing it, there wasn't going to... Actually, I thought they was going to give it back to him, to be fair. But if they would have gave it back to Sainz, so they said, look, Sainz, we was wrong. You can have that. You don't have to get that penalty. You get to keep your position in the race. When it finished on a safety car, which Abu Dhabi shouldn't have... Abu Dhabi should have finished on a safety car. Then people would have complained and said, look, you can give Sainz's thing back. Why didn't you give it back to Lewis in Abu Dhabi 2021? This is why now, whoever complains to the F1... to the FIA stewards, nothing's going to get reversed. Nothing. They are going to continue to make their rules as they go along. They're going to make up all these rules. People are going to complain, and it's going to be a crap fest. Because that's what Formula One is at the moment, a crap fest. They are catering to the wrong people. Formula One. They are catering to the wrong people. They are catering to the casual fans, the ones that are going to watch for a bit and they say, you know what, let's go move on to WWE. You know what, I ain't going to watch WWE, let's move on to UFC. But the hardcore fans are starting to walk away from this sport. It's getting like the WWE. Saying, I love the WWE. I've loved the WWE since I was younger. But when I want to watch made up crap and entertainment and make me laugh, I'll go and watch WWE. I do not watch Formula One for the glitz and the glamour. I watch Formula One for the racing. Fair racing. Not crooked stewards. And I'm the only one who's going to tell you. There's not many podcasters are going to come out and tell you how it is. Because you know the reason why they're not going to come out and tell you how it is because they want to be on Sky Sports F1. Would you like to come on our podcast? Would you like to talk about your podcast? Would you like to talk about F1? So they're all treading on eggshells. They're all being nice. They're all being positive. They're all catering to the audience. They want to be called up to go on the Sky Sports 1 F1 podcast. The rock they really want to say is what I'm saying. Because I don't care. I don't want to be invited onto Sky Sports F1. Sky Sports F1 don't invite me. I don't care. I'll move on with my life. I'll get on with my life. I'll do my own thing. But I'm still going to continue to do this podcast. I'm still going to continue to do this podcast. And I'm going to continue. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to come out and swear. That's not my style. I'm not going to come out and swear and start like an idiot. No. I'm going to tell you facts. It might hurt. It might not. But I'm going to tell you the facts. And what it boils down to, the F1 media, Sky Sports F1 are a disgrace. They are an utter disgrace. When Lewis Hamilton, when that thing was going viral last week, that petition, they never mentioned it. They never once mentioned it. Because you know why? I know why they never mentioned it. Because they're probably all signing waivers. If you mention that Abu Dhabi again, we're going to get rid of you a lot. We got rid of Johnny Herbert. Remember Johnny Herbert? They got rid of him. There you go. And they were all scared. So, It's like this new, like this F1 podcast. I got out. There's 3 or 4 episodes in. First episode, I'm not going to name the podcast. I started listening to it at first. I thought, you know what? First episode was cool. And then the second episode was, okay. And then the third episode, I thought, here we go, same old rubbish. They're all sitting on the fence. They don't want to tell you what they really think. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear like you saying, it's a great day. It was a good race. But, and then they try and change the subject. I want to hear what you really think. I want to know what you really think about these Carlos Sainz. I want you to call out the FIA. I want you to call out the stewards. I don't want you to just miss it and go, oh yeah, it's a shame for Carlos Sainz. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear you call out the stewards. That's what I really want to hear. But I will. The F1 media and the F1 podcasters, a lot of the F1 podcasters, not all of them, there's a few that they tell you how it is sometimes. But as soon as they get a bit of whiff of power, as soon as the subs start going up, as soon as they start getting the followers, they kind of dial it back. But not me. I'm never going to be like that. I cannot be like this. It doesn't matter how big I get, how popular I get, I will come out and I will voice my opinion. And if it's popular, good. If it's not popular, that's just the way it is. I can't change and I won't change. And I think the FIA, Sky Sports F1 are a disgrace. This sport is going down the crapper very fast because of all these new rules that are coming in. And that's how I feel. Look, that's just the way I feel. Let's get into the news. Now, Carlos Sainz, that penalty that he got in Australia, he did not deserve that penalty. Carlos Sainz. Go back and watch that, which I did. Frame by frame by frame, which I did. I studied that. And I didn't need to study. I just wanted to study anyway, just to prove my point. Carlos Sainz did not deserve that penalty. He had nowhere to go in that first corner. There was 2 Aston Martin cars. It was on the side. He tried to turn over a little bit. You could see the car swerving over a little bit, but he couldn't go nowhere. There was another car on the side of him, and there was an Aston Martin on the other side of him. And all he did, he just stayed there in one place with his car moving, and then they hit him. What could he have done? They gave him a 5-second time penalty for that. I mean, he did deserve that penalty. But you got Carew. You know what? I'm sure Carew's got people on the FIA stewards, you know. I'm sure he knows people. Because he's always defending them. This is what Carew says, quote, Carew suggested that the race stewards use Carlos Sainz's Melbourne penalty as a precedent for future cases. I've heard him say that before. He said that about Abu Dhabi 2021. He said that about Silverstone when Max and Lewis had that racing incident. Said the same thing in Monza. I think it was Monza when Max nearly killed Lewis. He said the same thing. He said we should use that as an example and try and make it better. That's all he ever says. All he does, all Carew does all day, yeah? You know what Carew does? All Carew does all day is bench people on Twitter. That's all he does. If he sees they got a Red Bull sign, no, if he sees they got a Mercedes sign in the bio, he won't even talk to him, he'll just bench him. I know plenty of people on Twitter that have screenshotted Carew blocking him for nothing. Just because they've got a Mercedes logo in their bio. He won't even have a conversation with him because he tried that before. He can't have a conversation with no one. He puts his point out there, and if someone disagrees, he'll bench him. There you go. They won't be disrespectful to him. They'll disagree in a nice way, not aggressive, but he'll still bench him. So he's got problems. So basically, that's what he said. He goes, in future cases. That's all he ever says. Oh yeah, and another thing that Carew always says as well. He says, oh, we can't change it now, we've got to move on. We can't change the past, we've got to move on. Same thing he said about Abu Dhabi 2021. Can't change it, we've got to move on. He's the one who supposed to design the track as well. That the new layout for Abu Dhabi 2021. I don't know why they're getting him to design the track. I don't know. A failed Formula One driver. Failed. That's why he's a commentator. So that's that story. Science never deserved it. He put out a statement saying he doesn't agree with the decision, but Science said, I'm going to move on. What else can he say? He could probably go further, but I don't think he's gonna, because they're not going to change their mind. He did not deserve that penalty at all. And I guaranteed, and this is not hating on the guy. I know you're going to, oh, you're just a hater on him. No, I'm not a hater on him. If that was Max Verstappen and he was in that car in the same situation, yeah, as Carlos Sainz, there's no way he'd be getting a penalty. And if they did appeal it, they'd overturn it. They'd turn it back round because of Red Bull. Because let's face it, Max doesn't really get penalties. If he does get penalties, it doesn't really disturb him. That could give him a 20-second time penalty. That could give him a 20-second time penalty during the race. And with that car that Max Verstappen's got, he'll still win the race. It doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. This is why he doesn't argue with people now. That's why he doesn't argue when Lewis passed him in Australia. When that brilliant move in Australia, there's nothing he could have done. He didn't really argue because he knew that he'd pass him on the DRS. Simple. He's got nothing to worry about. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff says that the Silver Arrows have been working at full speed during the April break to improve their W14 with upgrades incoming. Now, I heard something before the break, which we shouldn't have had a break. I'm just surprised that F1 couldn't find another track. Maybe Carl Army, maybe India, maybe one of them, or even Mugello, which I really like Mugello. I remember that in 2020, Mugello was a lovely track in Italy. So before the break, I know Toto Wolff was suggesting that there was going to be upgrades coming. He said it was either coming to Imola or Baku. He's saying on here, maybe, like he's saying on here, Imola or Baku. So Baku, he said he's going to bring a few upgrades, but Imola is where he's going to start bringing the full package. Because now they're back in Europe, because the first race wasn't in Europe. First race in Australia. No, first race was in Bahrain. Then it was in Saudi. Then it was in Australia. Now they're back in European soil. They're going to be starting giving the upgrades because they need to. Mercedes need to bring the upgrades. I think Mercedes now are the second fastest team. I think they've surpassed Aston Martin, which I'm not really surprised. And I don't think Alonso surprised either. A lot of people saying on Twitter that Alonso must be angry. No. If you go back and watch the interviews in the early parts of the, well, we still are in the early parts of the season. Go back and watch Australia. Alonso always said Mercedes will get faster. Australia, he was saying, and Sainz, when they had a double interview together and they was talking about the Mercedes car, and Alonso said, Mercedes are going to come back. Trust me, their car is fast and they're just trying to play it down. They knew from day one. So all the haters of Alonso, you're wrong. Go back and watch the interviews and you'll see what Alonso said. But yeah, Mercedes are bringing these upgrades in Baku, a small one, then Imola. They're bringing the big one. And I think they're going to change, I think by Silverstone, they're going to change Lewis's car from the inside because his seat is more forward and Lewis is used to controlling the front of the car when his seat's more back. So what they're doing, they're having his seat back, so it's going to suit Lewis. So we'll see what happens. Look, I'm still on the fence. I'm kind of off the fence nearly, but I'm still a bit wary of this Mercedes upgrades. They said this last year, it didn't really work out. They spent half of the season with the porpoising, right? Half of the season with the porpoising, and I'm a bit skeptical about it, but we'll see what happens. I'm partly confident, but I want to see what happens. I want to see the car in Baku, but more Imola. Imola, I'm going to pay attention more to that car and see how it goes. Because let's face it, at the moment, Mercedes is the only car that can get even close to Red Bull. Because Red Bull are going to win the championship. Most likely they're going to win the championship. It's either going to be Checo or it's going to be Max. Most likely Max. Because I can't see Red Bull putting all their might behind Checo. Because in my opinion, and I said this last year, I'm a flaming Tarmac, and I said it at the Brazilian Grand Prix review last year. Go on my channel, look for Brazilian Grand Prix review. And look, when I said on there, I said this is Checo's last season in 2023. It's going to be his last season when his contract runs out. Because when he came out on that radio and he started disrespecting Red Bull, rightfully, and Max, rightfully, because he gave up his spot for Max, and then when it was time for Max to give up his spot, he never did it for Checo. He did not do it for Checo. So Checo was rightfully to air his grievances on the radio. I would have done it, but Checo done it, and obviously Red Bull are not gonna like that because Max is their boy. Max is their boy, and they'll always be their boy. They will put everything behind Max. And I said at that time, I said this Checo season is ending at the end of 2023. And Checo knows it as well. That's why not long after, Daniel Ricciardo become the third driver. That's it. He became part of the team. So Ricciardo ain't just going to come into Red Bull just to do advertisement for Red Bull. He wants that seat, and I think they're going to give him the seat in 2024, in my opinion. Checo, I'm not saying Checo's going to leave Formula One, but he's going to part ways with Red Bull. Mark my words. They're not going to give him another contract, in my opinion. If they do, I'm going to be shocked. So, that's it then. Talking to Daniel Ricciardo, Daniel Ricciardo has secured another outing in a Red Bull F1 car. Yes, Daniel Ricciardo is going to be driving in an F1 car, but it's not going to be in F1. It's going to be at Nordschleife, the old school Nordschleife, the old layout where they have the GT cars. He's going to be driving a Formula 1 car around there, the 12-hour of Nürburgring event in September. I don't think he's going to be in the event, but he's going to be driving the Red Bull car around the track, obviously probably once, because there's a 12-hour Nürburgring event. So there's a 12-hour Nürburgring event in September, and he's going to be driving the Red Bull car, just showing off, just probably do one lap for the crowd entertainment. So he's going to be driving a Formula 1 car. I'm not sure if it's going to be the new one or the old one. It'll probably be the old one a few years old, probably 2013, 2014, maybe, when he was there. So he's going to be driving. He was there in 2014. Yeah, he came in 2014. So he'll be probably driving his car around the Nürburgring. That'd be cool. I'd love to. You know what? That was one of my bucket lists. That was one of my bucket lists. That was to drive the around the old Nürburgring, because I know they allow normal people like us to go around there. We have to book it. We have to, like me, I'll probably drive there from London. I'll drive there, drive to through France to Germany, getting a hotel, go with some friends, get a hotel, book a hotel for 3 or 4 days maybe, spend some time in Germany and go there, because I really want to do. That's one of my bucket lists to drive around there. I'm not sure if you have to be trained or go on a course, like a little 1 hour course about the track. I don't know. I'm gonna find that out, and I'll talk about it on my channel down the road. But I would like to do that, go to Germany and drive around that ring, because that's a monster track. I wish that Formula 1 could go back there. I know it's not Formula 1 grade, but they should make it Formula 1 grade, because that track is amazing and I'd love to drive around that track. So that's it, man. That's the F1 news, what's going around. Now, before I go, hit the subscribe. Hit the QR code, man. The QR code. If you click that QR code with your mobile phone or your iPad, click that QR code, scan it, and then you'll see all my social media. You'll see my Twitter, you'll see my F1 podcast, which is on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, TuneIn, all the podcast outlets that you listen to your podcast. I'm on there. Check it out. I'm on Twitch. I stream F1 2022. Check me out on Twitch. Hit me a follow. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 follows. I've been doing it for years. I still haven't hit 1,000 yet, but I'm grinding like I do. What's the time now? It is quarter to 4 in the morning. Quarter to 4. Because like I said, I had to redo this video, but I'm glad I did because I've added more to it. So it's a positive. You gotta turn them negative into a positive. You have to do it, man. So yeah, hit the subscribe. The QR code. I do on this channel. I do WWE pay-per-views. Because before, let me tell the story. I do a quick story. I've said this before, but for the new viewers, you can listen now. Since 2017, I've been covering Formula 1. Since 2017. And I love Formula 1, and I'm going to continue to cover Formula 1. Most of my Formula 1 videos, actually all of them, was recorded, pre-recorded. I've never done live recordings. Never. Now, at the end of 2022, I made a decision. I was with Total Hammer. He joins me for my wrestling reviews, live wrestling reviews, and he joins me for my live F1 reactions, and he joins me for my live Liverpool reactions as well, football Liverpool, because I'm a Liverpool fan, if you don't know. He said to me, why don't you do football and wrestling? Because what you've been doing, since 2017, you've been doing Formula 1, continue to do Formula 1, but when you do Formula 1, don't do it recorded, do it live. So when you do your qualifying, because I used to do qualifying reviews and race day reviews, and I used to go and edit them, do all the editing, and it used to take long. He said, why don't you just go live? So as soon as qualifying finishes, about 20 minutes after, go live, do a live reaction. And then when you got the race day, as soon as the race finishes, if you want, go live straight after. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. Started to do it, and I thought, yeah, this is better. It's more time. You know what I mean? It's not as long as recording it, editing, and doing that. The only time I don't go live is when I do Flaming Tarmac. That's the only one I don't go live now. Before, everything used to be pre-recorded. So we said, why don't you do wrestling? Why don't you do Formula 1? I mean, continue to do Formula 1, do wrestling, and cover Liverpool because you support Liverpool. So I said, I'll give it a go, and I started Christmas time when the World Cup was on. I started doing the watch along to the World Cup, and I thought, you know what, I like this. Start doing the football. And then beginning of the year, I said, right, I'm going to do it. So the first pay-per-view I done of the year was WWE Royal Rumble. So I've done a live review and that live reaction at the end, like a review with the live reactions. I'd started doing just Liverpool. I was doing other teams at the beginning, but I stopped and I'm just going to do Liverpool predictions. So basically, if Liverpool's playing another team, I'll do the player lineup. Then I do a live reaction of Liverpool. So I used to do 2 videos of football. And then obviously I continue to do my Formula 1, but instead of doing race reviews, yeah, I said, right, I'm going to do qualifying live reaction straight away, race reaction straight away, and on the Monday, do a small review show called, which is recorded. That one's recorded, called The Debrief. So the only ones I do recorded is Flaming Tarmac and Debrief. The rest is all live. And I started to do that, and everything came into play, and now I'm happy. Because I'm doing more content, because if Formula 1 season's not on, if Formula 1's not on, what am I going to record? I could talk about news, but I want to do more stuff. That's where the football came in with Liverpool. WWE, I don't do Raw and SmackDown with WWE. I'll just do the pay-per-views, which is once a month. So they don't really take up much time. And it was all cool, and now I'm happy. Now I got my Flaming Tarmac, I got my Formula 1, I got my WWE, and I got my Liverpool, and everything's smooth. So I'm getting content out there. For people to follow me, there's more content. Because I just love doing this. This is my passion. I love YouTube and I love streaming. I love it. This is my passion. And if you want to like the videos, like. If you want to follow me, sub, go for it. I'll be appreciated, because a lot of work goes into this. A lot of work. Because sometimes I ain't got a clue what I'm doing. I got to figure it out on the fly. And then Toto has to send some stuff over. And it's fine. But that's me, enough of the talk. I've been talking too much now. How long have we been going for? 32 minutes. Time to shut up now. So this is Solo P1. See you later, guys. Bye.